Hello and welcome back to Setup Phase and back to the realm of Ulos. Today's adventure is entitled Crack in Kulbak. I've set up most of the game. We have 3 gold and 2 experience from the previous adventure. Our king's favor is at 2. Starlidor and Dragul's favor is at -3. We have our hand of cards. I have also filled the attribute rows. There are 4 random encounter tokens placed around the map. Each location has an XP on it. We were also told to add the enemy card for the Warden Mercy near the map. And we also have 2 side stories. At location A, we have the Exonerated, and at location D, we have the continuation for the Brawler. With this, I think we are ready to begin. King Taran has escaped to another plane, and you stand accused of his murder. After a short trial whose verdict was never in doubt, you are sent to Kulbak prison to await your execution. When you arrive, Warden Mercy and 3 of her construct guards strip you of your weapons and clothes. One guard pours a bucket of cold water over your head. Another brands your shoulders with a symbol of crossed keys. They press an Nietzsche grey uniform into your hands and leave you to recover in your cell. If you are playing with 1 or 2 characters, each player remove all armor, scrolls, and weapon cards from their hand and set them underneath the Warden Mercy enemy card. Well, it's good we haven't built ourselves to have a lot of weapons. Let's see what we have. So armor and weapons and scrolls. Armor, weapon. These are the armors, weapons, and scrolls. We take them and then put them underneath Warden Mercy. I think it's half of our deck. Almost everyone detained here is a Dragul prisoner of war. They are not fans of the King's Guard. Many hurl insults or shout death threats as you are escorted to your cell and locked up for the night. You find a few simple beds, one already occupied by an orc sound asleep. Faintly scratched into the stone wall just above it, you discover markings written in Dragul Common. Peeling one of their mattresses back, you discover a chisel hidden underneath. The artist must have used it to scratch their message into the wall. Reveal discovery card 98, which as expected is the chisel. It doesn't require any stamina to use. And also reveal rare card 30, which is a chisel weapon. It's a one-time use. Afterwards, we will need to return it to the deck. We also place our party marker at location A and read entry A. If there is an event token at this location, there is not. If we will be told to add event tokens, they will look like this. But for now, we don't need to worry about them. If there is no XP at this location, there is. Otherwise, collect the XP from this location and continue raiding. The sun sets and the lanterns of the prison are extinguished one by one. Lights out, one of the construct guards yells. Soon you are asleep in your bed, lost in a dream. A kobold warrior charges through a field of battle. He blows into a horn made of white bone, rallying an army of Dragul warriors to his side. Somehow you know that this is Katandor, ancient commander of the invading Dragul horde. The immortal knight, the most famous hero in Ulos, charges forward under Queen Gimnak's banner. He leads a troop of halflings, dwarves, and elves. You find yourself impossibly trapped between 2 warring armies in a battle that took place nearly 2,000 years ago. Fight for the Dragul or fight for Nalos and the Queen? Let's fight for Nalos and the Queen. Even in your dreams, you are still loyal to Nalos. You draw your weapons and point it towards Katandor. 2 of his soldiers charge forward to meet you in battle. We have a fight with 2 enemies. One is a nightmare goblin and the other one is a bugbear. So here is the goblin and the bugbear. And the goblin has the modifier nightmare. The nightmare modifier tells us that after rolling the dice pool, return all dice with values 2 and 4 from the dice pool back to the bag. We need a lot of colors. Let's just pick the dice randomly and see what we get. And roll them. We need to return anything with values 2 and 4, which is only 1. And now let's see if we can manipulate the dice. We can put the white 5 here, the black 6 here, and we have 2 more dice. We can actually put the 3 green here. We can use examine to turn the 1 into a 5, and then steadfast to turn it into a red. This way we have defeated the goblin, its effect is no longer in play, and we also don't take damage from the counterattack at the end of the round. We have played 2 cards, we have 2 more card plays. Let's use Vibrant. This allows us to add a die of your class color to the die pool, in our case red, and whenever we add a new die we roll it, and it's a 6, which is perfect. We still have 1 more card play. Let's add our familiar die, the Nalos Leopard. It's the black-red die, and we rolled it into a 5. We still have bonus play limits. Sorry, this should be here. And we can take the bonus play limit and play tumble in order to flip the 5 into a 2 and place it. At the end of the combat round, we move the markers 1 space to the right. For the bugbear, we lose 2 gold, and we take 4 damage. We go on to the next round. We only need a green and a white. Let's just spend 1 of each to guarantee at least 1 die of each color. And the remaining 3 dice I will draw randomly. And let's see what we have. Nothing useful. We can play Famous for the first card to turn this purple into a white. Now we only need a green 1 somehow. I don't think there's a way. For the second card, let's use Grey Matter to add a random die. Which is a 5. Let's use the Flame Imp to reroll into a 3. I will play the Jade Gauntlet to turn any dice into a 6. Let's turn this one into a 6. And then use the bonus play limit to use Climb to turn this one into a 1 and complete this encounter. We return the dice. We gain the benefits, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 XP. And 2 gold. And we continue reading. The battle is long and claims many victims on both sides. By the end, the Dragul are dramatically outnumbered. Many are bound and captured. Why don't we just kill them where they stand, you hear a young elf demand. They are to be taken to Kulbak, a dwarf answers. The queen wants them alive. As Katmandur is dragged past your chains, he begins speaking to you frantically in a language you cannot understand. A young goblin interprets for your benefit. He says you fought well, but for the wrong side, the goblin claims. Katandur's spirit cries out for justice. Free the Dragul. Bring Kulbak to its knees. Each player return all stamina and bonus play tokens in their fatigue box to the supply. Each player flip over their class card if it's face down, return any gold gained during the previous combat to the supply, and return any gold lost to the party journal. It's the same, we lost 2 gold and gained 2 gold. Each player refill your attribute row up to its attribute score with stamina from the supply. I think we're only missing a constitution and a wisdom. Each player return any cards in your spend space to your hand, and as well as the discarded cards. If no player has the chisel card in their hand, we do. You startle awake as sunlight pours into the prison. When the doors of the cell block open, you are visited by a goblin. Though older in appearance, with spectacles and deep wrinkles cut into his skin, he looks quite similar to the interpreter from your dreams. He introduces himself as Gundur. For weeks he explained all prisoners have dreamt at Katandur and the battle fought nearly 2000 years ago. Tonight I dreamt that you would be the one to free us from Kulbak. After a brief awkward silence, Gundur smiles. I will show you around, he says. Trust me when I say you will want a Dragul by your side. We should talk to Vrax. She's the leader of the Fighting 87th, the gang running the exercise yard. If you want Dragul help busting out of here, she's the one to talk to. Or if you'd like, we could go to the archives. I have some old maps of the prison that could help us plan an escape route. You notice a crack between stones along the back wall of your cell. You press your hand against a cap and feel the cold air passing through. In the cell opposite yours, you see a Seki with the eye of the starlit door carved into his bark. If your starlit door is 2 or higher, no it is not. We can use an item, rest, or move to another location. Let's use the chisel. It's free to use. You scratch at the stone with your chisel. After a short time, you stop to check your handiwork. You've barely made a dent. Somehow, you need to bring more pressure to bear in your elbows. Trying to scratch your name, Gundur guesses. Looks like someone else carved up the wall over here. Left quite a little poem, in fact. Ask Gundur to translate the poem. Gundur clears his throat and proceeds to translate the poem scratched into the cell wall. Katandur, do not sleep. Your people are in chains. Katandur, sound your horn, or forever shall we remain. Horn of Katandur makes us brave. The freedom we seek lies through your grave. A bit grim for my tastes, he decides. We can use another item, rest, or move to another location. Before we move to another location, we have our backstory. At location A, we have the backstory for the exonerated. You can't believe you're back in Kulbak again. Rusty gates, dirty shadows, smells, screams, so many stones. Overwhelmed, you kick your bed in anger. Quiet, hisses a wild-haired dwarf crouched down in a neighboring cell. He introduces himself as Tobak and tosses a grubby pouch of foul-smelling dust to you. Do me a favor, says Tobak, pointing towards the scarred orc snoring in your cell. That brooder there is Rek. He captains the Green Eyes, trying to cut into me getting folks what they need. But sprinkle that over him and he won't wake up again. Help the dwarf out or wake the orc. Well, as far as I've understood, the dwarves are part of the king's favor. Let's help the dwarf. Exonerated player, move the enlightenment marker down. You carefully open the pouch and shake it into the air over the sleeping orc. A short while later, he makes some quiet choking sounds and then doesn't make any sounds at all. Later, you find another small pouch dropped near the door of your cell. A gift from Tobak. This one is marked with the dwarven runes for friends and good health in brown ink. Or is that blood? Exonerated player records the personal title Hearth. Exonerated player, increase your health by 4. This brings our health to 29. If your starlit door is 2 or higher, you can approach Seki. It is not. Use an item, rest, or move to another location. We can move to another location. I don't think we want at least to get to the exercise yard because we don't need Dragul's favor. So let's go to the archives. On the way, we have encounter number 3. If you have the title Duntum's Abandoner, I think we rescued Duntun. Capture Duntum acquaintance and return. A few insectoid prisoners sit together on the ground, their arms and legs intermeshed. The insectoid at the center of this tangle of arms and legs has its mandibles latched into a perfect round yellow ball. She tightens her grip, cracking the ball in half and swallowing it whole. As she reaches for the second ball, it becomes clear that these are not some strange unfamiliar fruit, but rather insectoid eggs upon which she is feasting. Gundur lowers his voice to a whisper. Better not think about it, he advised. Insectoids are not goblins. They have their own ways, and we must respect them. When the insectoids see you, they untangle themselves and stand aside, allowing you to pass. A single egg rolls across the stone floor and stops at your feet. We can either grab the egg and run, or pick it up and return it to them. Well, I think insectoids are Dragul. Let's not do them a favor. Let's grab the egg and run, which is a fight. You scoop up the egg and run as fast as you can. The good news is that the entire group, only the insectoid mother seems alarmed. The bad news is that she is faster than you. We have a combat of fleet-footed insectoid. Fleet-footed says that after rolling the dice pool, return all dice with values 1 and 3 from the dice pool back to the back. Our combat limit is 5. Let's use 1 stamina for a red, 1 for a white, and 1 for a green. And the remaining 2 randomly. Fleetfoot tells us to return all dice of value 1 and 3 back to the dice pack, which means we return this one. We have a green 4, which we can add here maybe. And let's see what else we can do with these dice. We can turn any color into a white or a red. Let's turn this one into a red. For the second card play, let's add the dice for the Flame Imp and roll it into a 5. We can use Friendly to turn this die into... No. We can use Famous to turn this die into red, and then use the chisel in order to turn it into a 3. And we return the chisel back to the box. We have played 4 cards now. And I don't think there's much that we can do. We can add the green 4 and we move on to the next round. We lose 1 gold and take 3 damage. In the next round, let's use 1 more stamina to guarantee a white die and get the remaining 4 dice randomly. and roll them. We need to return all dice of value 1 and 3, which are all of this and this. We only have one more die left. Let's use grey matter to add a random die. And it's a 6. We played only one card. We can turn any color into a 5 with the onyx cube. Let's turn this into a 5. We can use Relentless for the third card to turn it into a white, and the Vampire Skull to decrease it to a 4 and place finally. We've completed the combat. We return the dice. We return the discarded cards back to our hand, and we take the benefits, 2 gold and 1 XP. You manage to land some pretty good blows, but before the fight turns lethal, a group of construct guards interfere, pulling you apart. Not yours, the insectoid hisses despondently, but the guards push her away. You stare down at the small yellow egg and wonder what you would do if it hatched. You haven't planned that far ahead. Oh dear, Gundur says, staring at the egg. Oh dear, oh dear. Record the keyword egg. We can now rest or continue moving to the next location. Let's continue moving to location E, the archive. If you have the title Construct Assembler, we do not. If there is no XP, there is, otherwise collect the XP. A large number of bookcases and boxes filled with rolled parchment have been crammed in a rather small room. On a table in the back there is a small block of marble. Sorry for the mess, Gundur says. I've been trying to reorganize chronologically based on a particular... His voice trails off as a headless construct guard stumbles toward you from the other end of the room. It bumps into Gundur and immediately grabs the goblin's neck, twisting it. It's almost as if that range guard were attempting to snap off Gundur's head and take it as his own. Sparks shoot out from the cavity between the guard's shoulders where his neck used to be, crackling like fireworks. We can fight the guard or find another way to disable it. Let's fight it. You grab the construct's arms in an attempt to free Gundur, and it takes a swing at you, sending the goblin flying across the room. We have a fight with a weakened construct. The weakened state says that skill cards do not count against the play limit. Our combat limit is 5. Let's spend 1 intelligence to get a blue die. And roll them. Well, we have a 5. We have another 5. And a 2. We only need a red 2 and a blue die of any color. Let's start by using Vibrant to add a dice of our class color to the pool, in our case a red die. And we roll the 1. Let's add the familiar die. And we have a 2. We have played 2 cards, we only need a blue die of any number. Let's use Relentless and make this one into blue. This way we have completed the combat, we return the discarded cards, we return the dice, and we get 2 XP and 2 gold. The guard takes a wild swing at your head but slams into a bookcase, knocking it to the floor. Sprawled out over a pile of dusty books and splintered wood, he does not look like he's getting up again anytime soon. Thank you, Gundur says in a quiet, raspy voice from across the room. You search the construct's body. Reveal discovery card 77, which is a skeleton key. It requires 1 stamina to be used. Gundur removes a dusty old map from a wooden crate and spreads it out over the table in front of him. They brought more Dragul here, dead than alive, he explains. There used to be an entrance to the catacombs from the cell block, but it has been sealed. Use an item rest or move to another location. Let's use the chisel. Picking up a copy of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Minions, use the chisel to scratch your initials into its cover. Gundur seems deeply displeased, but he doesn't voice any objections. Use an item rest or move to another location. Let's use the key. This requires us to pay 1 stamina. You hold the skeleton key in your hand. If that's what I think it is, exclaims Gundur, it should open just about any lock in the entire prison. Fate favors us this day. Each player return 1 stamina from their fatigue box to the supply. We can now rest or continue moving along. Let's do a rest since we have used a lot of our good cards and we don't have that many cards. To rest, we add 1 stamina to the rest track. We spend 2 XP. This gives us 2 dice to roll. And we return that much stamina to the box, in our case 6. We also return the spent cards and fill up the attribute rows. We would also flip our class card and return any bonus play tokens, but we have none of those rules. Let's continue moving along since we're in this way and go to the guard room. We will have encounter number 1. Stepping over the sewer grate as you pass through the prison, you are startled when a hand grabs hold of your ankle. Shh, whispers a voice. The guards are watching. Don't look down. You ignored this demand. The sewers are too dark to see much of the shadowy figure below, but you recognize his voice. It's Tarek Nolan, the halfling who led you on a secret mission at Black Lake. I'm about to make a very loud noise down here, and I don't want to attract any attention, he explains. I need you to create a diversion for the guards. Start a fight with another prisoner, which is a fight. Make guards think you're insane, a constitution and charisma check. Refuse to cooperate and alert the guards, a constitution and charisma check again. Well, we don't want to alert the guards. Let's start a fight with another prisoner, since apparently we'll fight anything. You land at a kobold passing by, hitting him square in the jaw. He punches back and the other prisoners form a circle around you, cheering him on. As long as the prisoners aren't killing each other, the guards seem more than happy to let them blow off a little steam. If playing in Legendary, we are not. We have a fight against a kobold. Let's pay 1 constitution for a green die and maybe 1 charisma for a purple. And take the other 3 randomly. We roll the dice and see what we got. Absolutely nothing. We can use Examine for the first card to turn any one into a 3 and turn this one into a 3. We would like to have the 4 since it does 3 damage, but I don't think there's a way. Let's add the Flame Imp die and roll it into a 1 again. We can use the Onyx Cube to turn any color into a 5. Let's turn this black 6 into a 5. And we can also use the Vampire Skull to increase the white to a 5. We have played the 4 cards. I will check to see if there's anything that I can do with bonus play tokens. And I don't think there is. We move on to the next round. We take 1 damage plus another 3 for a total of 4 damage. Let's spend 1 more charisma for the purple die and draw 4 more randomly. Well, it's better. We can use weak to turn any color into a purple and place it. With this, we have completed the challenge. We return the discarded cards and the dice and gain the benefits, which is 1 XP and 1 gold. You manage to keep the cards distracted. An explosion rumbles the ground beneath you, but the sound is mostly muffled by the cheers of the prisoners. The guards appear momentarily puzzled, but their eyes never leave the match. You assume that Tarek is making good progress below. Record the keyword Nolan. We can now rest or move to the next location in our path. We will move to the next location, which is the guard room. If you have the title Warden's Killer, we do not. If there's an event token, there isn't. If there is no XP at this location, there is. Otherwise, collect the XP. Gundur eyes the guards nervously. I'll wait outside. You enter a large room where Warden Mercy, a human woman, sits behind a large wooden desk, flanked by constructs. She studies you carefully as you make your way across the room. You may not remember, she says, but we've met before. We fought together under Commander Zalik against the Dragul, and now here you are. Is it true? Did you murder the king? You're not certain what to do. The warden might not believe you if you tell her that King Taran escaped to another plane. You are not certain that you believe it, even though you saw it with your own eyes. Convince her of the truth. Invent a clever lie. Well, one is in intelligence and charisma, which you're not good at either of them. Let's try to convince her of the truth. You tell the warden the whole story. Even though it's the truth, you're not sure whether or not she'll believe you. If your king's favor is 2 or higher, each player adds 1 stamina to any of their attribute rows from the supply, ignoring the usual limit. Let's add 1 stamina to the charisma, since we will need it. Next, we need to do a persuasion 2 check. Let's spend 1 stamina for a purple die, 1 for a red, and maybe 1 for a white. The dice limit is 6, so we draw 3 more dice randomly. And let's roll them. All the high numbers that we don't need. We can use a trap to flip the 4 into a 3. And I don't think there's much that we can do. We can turn any color into a purple or a red. And I think that's about it. It's a shame. We haven't completed the check, but we still get 1 XP because we covered 1 of the XP dice. We return the dice and read the fail consequence. You tell the warden your story, but she cuts you off in the middle of your speech. Perhaps someone else would be interested with this absurd web of lies, she says, but I must confess that I lack the patience for it. I hoped against hope you were innocent, for I have need of your aid. But you betrayed your oath, and for that reason I cannot trust you. She quickly skims a book sitting on the podium in front of her and finds your name. We provide every prisoner at Kulbak with a bed and a warm meal, she explains. In exchange, we expect an honest day labor. I'm assigning you to the smithy. There has been chatter among the prisoners about a riot. If you want to prove your loyalty to the crown, return to me with hard evidence of their plot. Now, if you will excuse me, I have an important matter to attend to. Record the word unconvinced. Reveal Discovery 26 and place an XP on it. Discovery 26, it's the smithy. It's a 0. It's a circle 1, which will be right here. Let's move the warden somewhere else. And we add 1 XP on this location. The only place remaining for us to go is up. So let's go back through the archives. Oh no. Before we leave, let's try to use the chisel and the skeleton key. You hand the warden your chisel. Put it away, the warden says, and you do so. I appreciate you bringing me contraband, she whispers, but don't show me that again. You may need it. Kulbak is a dangerous place after all. Let's use the skeleton key. We need to pay 1 stamina. You reach into your pocket and grab hold of the skeleton key. While the warden is not looking, you scratch your initials on the front of her desk. Okay, let's continue moving. We go through the archives towards the Chow Hall, and we have encounter number 4. If you have title Captor of Gimlix. We do. You are stopped by a group of prisoners. Each has a purple eye tattoo on their forehead, indicating that they are members of the Starlit Door. You recognize the leader of the group as Gimlix, the artifact hunter you arrested just outside the village of Jolev. He appears perfectly happy to see you. Old friend, he shouts, do me a favor and try this on. It's an artifact of immeasurable power. Gimlix lifts a thin golden chain and locket from around his neck. You can see a circular scar where the chain touches skin. Put on the chain, ask about the scar on his neck. I'm not putting on the chain, let's ask about the scar. Gimli shrugs. Amulet burns a bit. It's a small price to pay for the vision it provides, but maybe you're not ready for that yet. He puts the amulet back on. Oh well, he says, no less cheerful than he was before. It's good to see you. If you happen to see a ghost running around here, kindly point him in my direction. I have something important to ask him. And with that, Gimlix and his band of followers continue their walk through the prison. A few of their cultists give you a dirty look as they pass. Reduce your Starlit Door favor by 1. Rest or move to the next location. I don't think we need to rest yet. Let's move to the next location, in our case, location C. If there's an event token at this location, there's not. There's some XP. We collect the XP. You've arrived at mealtime and the chow hall is a bustle of activity. Dragul prisoners eat and converse at tables. As you stand in line for breakfast, all eyes turn towards you. An ogre grinds his teeth audibly as he stares at you, fists clenched. A few construct guards watch him with disinterest from the perimeter of the room. Don't worry, Gundur says. If anyone gives you trouble, I'll vouch for you. Somehow this does not put your mind at ease. An old prisoner bumps into you, spilling her bowl of hot gruel all over your prisoner's uniform. She screams angrily in Dragul Common as if it were your fault. Every prisoner in the chow hall watches for your response. Attempt to avoid the fight, a wisdom and constitution skill check, or don't show any weakness, attack the gnoll. Let's don't show any weakness and attack the gnoll. The gnoll pulls a makeshift blade from her waistband and lunges for your throat. We have a combat with a crazed gnoll. The crazed modifier says that to play a weapon card, you must move 1 stamina from one of your attribute rows to your fatigue box. Well, it's good we don't have any weapons. Our dice limit is 5. Let's draw the 5 randomly and see what we get. And roll them. And we need 1s and 2s. None of them we have. Let's use friendly to turn any 2 into any color. Let's turn this one into a white. We can use the chained gauntlet to turn any die into a 6, and we will turn this green into a 6. And then use climb, it's a spend card, to flip it into a 1. We have played 3 cards, we only need a blue or red 2. For the last card, let's try to play Vibrant to add the dice of a class color, which is red. And it's a 2. With this, we completed the combat, we return the dice. We get the benefits, in our case, 2 XP. And we continue on with the story. You hold your own long enough to prove your mantle. The guards, sensing that the fight is about to get out of hand, intervene. The gnoll, kicking and screaming, is dragged from the hole, and a few of the prisoners stare up at you with newfound respect. Now that your fight with the gnoll is over, you notice a group of goblins at a nearby table playing a round of goblin vaults. If your Dragul favor is 2 or higher, it is not, we can rest, use an item, or move to another location. Let's use the chisel. You take the chisel from your pocket and one of the Ratfolk prisoners immediately snatches it from your hands. The kobold sitting next to him sees this and attempts to claim the tool for himself. After a brief fight, the guard intervenes, pulling the prisoners apart. In the commotion, no one noticed the chisel fall to the floor. You pick it up discreetly and hide it in a sleeve. Use a night item, rest, or move to another location. Don't think there's anything that we can unlock here. Let's continue moving to the next location. Maybe we should go to the exercise yard. On our way, we have encounter number 2. If you have the title Aid to Ogre, I think we have, it's the one that we didn't want to take. Troll allies. Oh no, we have Troll's ally. Okay, we do not. As you walk through the prison, you notice a group of bugbears huddled together suspiciously. It looks as though they are attempting to hide something from the guards. You catch the faintest glimpse of their contraband. It seems to reflect the light, Gundur explains. They're members of one of the most dangerous gangs in the prison. They call themselves the Tall Claw Assassins. Better leave them alone. We don't want any trouble. We can move closer to get a better look or report the bugbears to the guards. Let's move closer and get a better look. You take a closer look only to discover that one of the bugbears is holding the severed head of a guard. He looks like he's trying to find a way to pry it open with his claws. Panicked, the construct's jaw opens and shuts as if he were trying to call for help. If you help the bugbears crack open the head, the guard will die, but the prisoner might offer you some of whatever's inside. Let's rescue the head from the bugbears. Maybe if we rescue one of the guards from them, the warden will be nicer to us. Sensing the guard can still be safe, you rush forward and attack the Dragul prisoners. We have a combat with a gang of bugbears. Gang of states that during the first round of combat, the dice limit is reduced by 1. In our case, it will be 4. Well, we need a lot of colors. Let's draw the 4 dice randomly. And roll them. We have a 2 black. We can use entrap to flip the 4 into a 3. And then use relentless to turn the 3 into a black. Let's add the jackalope die. We can turn the purple into any color. And we have played our 4 cards. With this, let's end the round. We lose 2 gold and take 4 damage. For the next round, we have our 5 dice back. Let's spend 1 constitution and 1 strength for 1 green and 1 red. And the remaining 3 randomly. Well, we have a 6. We only need a 1, which we cannot do. Let's play the grey martyr to add a random die. And it's a 5. I don't think there's anything that we can do. Let's use Emboldened to add 2 stamina to one of the attribute rows, ignoring the attribute limit. And we add it to the Constitution and we end the turn. We take 2 more damage. And lose 2 more gold. For the next turn, I will pay 2 stamina to get 2 green and 2 random dice. And we have a 1, enough to complete this challenge. We return the dice. We get 2 XP and 2 gold back. You manage to wrestle the head from the bugbears. A group of construct guards approach to break up the fight. The Dragul insists that it is an honest misunderstanding. You hide the severed head behind your back, blocking it from view until the guards return to their station. Reveal Discovery Card 63, which is a construct's head. We can now rest or move to the next location. We definitely need to rest. 1 stamina to the rest track. Let's spend 3 XP and roll 3 dice. 10, 15. We also take the spent cards. We fill out the attribute rows. And with this, we can move on to the next location. Let's go to the exercise yard. We are now at location D, the exercise yard. If there's an event token, there is not. If there's no XP, there is. Otherwise, collect the XP. You glance around the exercise yard. A hobgoblin lifts iron dumbbells in a corner and a few insectoids sprint around the edge of the yard. A large group of goblins are huddled around the stone table. This is the Fighting 87th, the gang Gundur told you about. When you approach, a large goblin with golden blonde hair places a hand on your chest, blocking your path. Gundur introduces her as Frax. Reveal title card 47, which is Goblin's Inmate. Gundur speaks to the gang leader for what seems like a long time. Then he translates her words to you as she refuses to speak in Alos Common. Vrax says there is something you can do to help them, but she wants to know why they should trust you. You've heard that goblins value loyalty. It seems unlikely they would trust anyone who was not aligned with the Dragul. On the other hand, perhaps it would be better to show her that you will never turn on the kingdom of Nalos. Convince them that you side with the Dragul. Announce your loyalty to Nalos, which is a fight. Let's announce our loyalty to Nalos and go into yet another fight. Gundur's jaw drops when you pledge your undying fealty to the crown. He does not translate your words, but he doesn't need to. Vrax understands well enough. She smiles and then says something which Gundur relays back to you. She is glad to know you are loyal, Gundur explains. Loyalty is admirable trait, but her brother was killed by the king's man. She has waited many years for an opportunity to settle the scores. The goblin leader cracks her knuckles and smiles. It is clear that she is going to enjoy this. We have a combat with Vrax. At the second level, we will lose a stamina from the stamina row, whichever one we choose to. Our combat limit is 5. Let's draw the 5 dice randomly and see what we get. And let's roll them. Well, we already have a 4 or another 4. Let's see which one we need to use. We can use examine to turn a 1 into a 5 and place it here. We can turn a purple into any color, and let's turn it into a red and then place the white here. Now we only need blue dice. We have played 2 cards. Let's use the Jade Gauntlet to turn the 5 into a 6, and then Ambitious to turn any 6 into any color and turn it into a blue. With the first round over, we move the round tracker, we lose 1 stamina from an attribute row, and we also take 2 damage from the uncovered dice slots. In the next round, let's choose to spend 1 stamina from intelligence for a blue die and 1 from strength for a red die, and draw 3 more randomly. We can play Relentless to turn the red 3 into a blue. With this, we have completed the challenge. We return the dice. We take the benefits to XP and to gold. We return the discarded cards. You manage to stand your ground against Vrax and her gang, but the guards break up the fight before anyone is killed. One of them grabs you by the shoulder and lifts you into the air with incredible strength. Who started the altercation? The guard demands. Tell me. I'll know if you're lying. Accuse the goblins of starting it. Refuse to answer. Let's accuse the goblins of starting it. You explain that the Fighting 87 were the instigators. Vrax glares at you as the guards drag several other goblins from the yard. You made a fool out of me, Gundursids. You think those inmates won't kill me just because I'm another goblin? If the Dragul aren't free by the end of the day, I'm as good as that. He hands you something he stole from Vrax's pocket during the fight. If you drink this in the smithy, you can open the weapons cache and the Dragul will riot. Perhaps we can win back Vrax's trust. Record the keyword distrust. Reveal Discovery Card 88, which is a potion of strength. Note that, unlike most items, the Potion of Strength card can only be used 1 time. Once you use the potion, you must return it to the Discover deck. We can rest or move to another location. Let's read our backstory, this time for the Brawler. You move to the corner of the yard by the hobgoblin lifting weights. One of the insectoids walks past and spits a glob of acidic ichor right into the hobgoblin's face. The hobgoblin roars as he rises to his feet, wiping away the spittle and hurtling his dumbbell at the insectoid. It's not a question of whether or not there will be a fight. It's how many seconds you have until it starts. If the Brawler player has the personal title right, we do. Looking at the insectoids standing behind the spitter, you wonder why they aren't backing their friend in the fight, until you realize that one has a ragged stump instead of an arm, and the other mandibles have been crudely wired shut after a grievous injury. The insectoid isn't just picking a fight, It's there to get some revenge on the hobgoblin. You've seen fights like this before, but it still isn't right for the side to be so uneven, especially when one side has more heart than fists. The insectoid has about as much chance as a merchant did against the owlbear in Sobek. Suddenly, both sides turn and look at you, waiting to see if you're going to be a friend or a foe. Whatever you do will surely provoke one half of the art. There's no way you can avoid seeing it through one way or another. Fight alongside the insectoid, fight alongside the hobgoblin. Well, I think we're going for evil apparently, so let's stand with the hobgoblin. Brawler player, move your alignment marker down, but it is already there. Any hope the insectoid has had of winning the fight crumbles when you step forward to stand beside the hobgoblin. Their leader spits acid at you, but you've already seen that trick. You dodge beneath the acid while lunging forward and trap the insectoid in your entangling grapple, grabbing it by the neck and squeezing. The hobgoblin sweeps its legs, knocking the insectoid to the ground, and begins to beat it savagely. The other two insectoids, already wounded, decide to run rather than face the two of you. I like you, says the hobgoblin when it's over. I like your fists, though plays like this ain't so tough when the strong stand together. Brawler player, increase your strength attribute score by 1 and add 1 stamina to your strength row from the supply. This gives us 5 strength. We can now rest, use an item, or move to another location. Let's use our chisel. You use the chisel to carve your own name in the stone tablet. One of the goblins snatches the chisel from your hand and begins to carve into the table himself. Gundur translates the goblin's writing for you. It says, "Warden Mercy is a pig," he explains, grinning ear to ear. The goblin politely places the chisel back into your hands. Don't think there's anything that we can do with the key. Maybe the construct head for 1 stamina. You pull out the construct head, being careful not to reveal it to the guards. It immediately sputters to life. "Murderers, murderers, murderers," the head shouts frantically. Fearing that it might attract unwanted attention, you stuff it back into your bag. Let's go to the archives and see if there's anything that we can do with the construct's head. A large number of books and scrolls have been collected here. There is a headless construct card sprawled out over a cracked bookcase lying on the floor. There is a small block of marble on a table at the back of the room. We again need to pay 1 stamina. You snap the head back onto the construct card. His eyes flicker to life. He pulls himself to his feet. Each player return 1 stamina from your fatigue box to the supply. "I had the strangest dream," he confides in you. "I made a pilgrimage to the Colossus. I wore long white robes, and I think I killed someone. A live human sacrifice to the gods. Does that sound crazy? It's possible that the severing of my head resulted in a permanent degradation of my ability to form rational thoughts. Reveal title card 38, which is Construct Assembler. And we also return Discovery card 63 to the Discovery deck. Let's go to the guard room and see if we can do something about the Warden. If you have title Warden, skill alert no event token. If you have the keyword Unconvinced, we do. A guard blocks your entry. The Warden doesn't want to see you. She says, "Move along." Attack the guard or move to another location. Let's attack the guard. You attack the guard, attempting to push your way through. The construct draws her mace and prepares to beat you back. Let's spend 1 intellect for a blue die. And draw the other ones randomly. have a blue 5, blue that doesn't matter. We can turn the red into any color and let's make it a black. We can turn the purple into any color and let's make it a red. And we can turn any color into a white. With this, combat is complete. We gain 2 more XP and 2 gold. And we return the discarded cards. You manage to disable your opponent and break into the guard room. Far from angry, the warden seems impressed. She signals to her remaining guards to not interfere. Anyone who goes to that much trouble to see me deserves an audience, she explains. Perhaps I misjudged your resourcefulness. Warden Mercy asks if you have found anything regarding the prisoner plans to riot. Erase the keyword unconvinced and record the keyword truce. We can use an item or move to another location. Let's show the warden the potion of strength. Maybe this is what she's looking for. You remove the potion of strength from your pocket and hand it to Warden Mercy. She carefully examines the vial as you relay the instructions you received from Vrax and the Fighting 87th. Corinth, the warden shouts to one of her constructs. Double the guard at the smithy. The guard nods solemnly and races from the room. Then the warden smiles. If this riot had proceeded as planned, she reminds you, there would have been bloodshed. The warden opens a small closet, revealing your confiscated equipment. You may need this, she explains. I wish I could do more. I will write to the palace and see if there is a chance for appeal, but I cannot make any promises. Return Discovery Card 88 to the Discovery deck. If you have the keywords truce, erase it. Reveal Title Card 42, which is Warden's Trust. Increase King's favor by 1 and decrease Dragul's favor by 1. Return any cards under Warden Mercy enemy card to the owner's hand, which means we have back our weapons, armors, and scrolls. We can use another item, rest, or move to another location. There's nothing for us around here to do. Maybe let's rest. We add 1 stamina to the rest track. Let's spend 2 XP. And we roll 2 dice for a total of 7. 2 and another 5. We also will return the spent cards and fill the attribute rows. Let's go to the smithy. If there's no XP at this location, there is. Otherwise, collect the XP from this location. I'm not assigned to the smithy, Gundur says, so I'll have to wait outside. A dozen Dragul prisoners tend to the forge and strike at metal over anvils, shaping hot iron into swords. While the guards keep watch, the heat from the forge is overwhelming. It's not long before you are drenched in sweat. After a freshly forged weapon has had the chance to cool, it is secured behind a locked iron gate in a small armory. In order for the gate to open, 2 guards must simultaneously insert their keys into separate locks on opposite sides of the room. There is a spare rounding hammer on the table beside you. Everything else here seems to be too big to hide in your prisoner's uniform, but the hammer is just small enough to fit into your pocket. Reveal Discovery Card 59, which is a rounding hammer. We can now use an item, move to another location. Let's use the chisel because it's free. You scrape at some melted metal scraps on the floor and find a bit of gold. Finding the scraping has dulled your chisel. You use the tools of the smithy to sharpen it. Gain 1 gold. And if no player has the chisel card, return it. Let's use the skeleton key, maybe. When no one is looking, you approach the iron gate of the small armory and insert your skeleton key into one of the keyholes. Unfortunately, opening the gate requires two people to insert keys into locks on opposite side of the room. A guard catches you fiddling with a gate and strikes you hard across the face. Get back to work, he says. Each player adds 2 stamina to your fatigue box. We can now use another item, rest, or move to another location. Don't know what we could possibly do here. Let's use the rounding hammer, maybe. You take out the rounding hammer and pound it against the hot iron, shaping it into a sword. One of the guards comes over to admire your handiwork. He nods in approval. Staring down at the hammer, you are impressed by the incredible force you are able to wield with it against the blade. If you have something sharp for it to strike against in the cell block, you might be able to chip away at the walls. When the guard is looking, you slip the hammer back into your pocket. Each player returns 1 stamina to the fatigue box. Well, we have our clue. We should go to the cell block. If you have the keyword breakthrough, we do not. Your cell is just as you left it. Above your bed are the faint markings in Dragul Common. There is also a crack between stones in the back wall where cold air seeps through. A Sheki with the eye of the starlit door carved into his bark sits in the cell opposite yours. Let's use an item and let's use the rounding hammer. We need to pay 1 more stamina. You begin pounding against the back wall of your cell with the hammer. You hit the stone as hard as you can for as long as you can until your arm begins to feel sore. Pausing to admire your handiwork, you notice no change in the wall. If you had a sharper tool, Gundar muses, it might help you chip away at the stone. Maybe with the chisel? We pay another stamina and we use the rounding hammer with the chisel together. You find a crack in the back wall of your cell. You position your chisel near the gap and hit it with the hammer, slowly chipping away at the stone. Soon there is an opening in the wall large enough to crawl through, which leads you to the small chamber beyond. This is it, Gundar exclaims, the entrance to the catacombs. Return the discovery cards 59 and 98 to the discovery deck. Reveal discovery card 8 and place an XP on it. And record the keyword breakthrough. We can now use another item, rest, or move to another location. Don't think we found anything to do with this key. Let's move to the catacombs. If there's no XP, there is. If you have the keyword Nolan, we do. Collect the XP from this location. You follow a crumbling stone staircase down to an old prisoner tomb. Gundar follows you, wiping the dust from the plaques that line the walls and reading off the names of the dead. Ahead in the darkness, you glimpse a figure crouched in the shadows, prying open the stone door of a tomb. "Ah, you've made it," says Tariq Nolan. "Lend me a hand." Gundar seems surprised to encounter anyone in these ancient catacombs, but he turns his attention to the engravings on the tomb. While Tariq pries the tomb open, Gundar reads aloud. "Here lies Katandor, general of the Dragul Horde, keeper of the mystic horn." Oh, please don't open that. Gundar's cry comes too late. The stone door pops open, revealing the bones of a kobold warrior dressed in full armor, clutching a horn of white bone. Tariq looks the corpse over, confused. "No Durgulium anywhere," he says. He takes the horn from the corpse's hand and gives it to you. I guess it isn't from another plane after all. As soon as the horn leaves Katandor's hands, a strange blue mist rises from the carcass and forms into the shape of the kobold warrior. The spirit turns his eyes toward you. Reveal rare card 37, which is Katandor's horn. Each player adds 3 stamina to their fatigue box from the supply and we gain 1 XP. We now have a special combat like we had before, and after the first round we will need to check the resolution. The combat is against the ghost of Katandor. I don't think there's a way that we can win in 1 round. Let's just draw the dice randomly and see what we have. Well, we have a 1 red. I think we needed a 3 red somehow. Now we have a lot of cards. Let's play Steadfast to turn any color into a red. We can use the chisel, which we will need to return to the deck in order to increase this 5 into a 6. We played 2 cards so far. And now that we have access to our armors, let's start playing the chainmail armors to reroll the white into a 3, which I think it's what we want, because we can play weak and turn this 3 into a purple. We have played 4 cards. With this, let's end the round. We move the round marker. We take 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. We are at 21 out of 29, and we read the next entry. Neither victory nor defeat. You hold strong in the face of the goat's screaming visage. Katandor swoops across the tomb, and an unearthly glow fills the rough stone walls. We're not playing in hard mode. Each player plays an armor, skill, or trait card from your hand in the active area of the party journal. Let's place this armor. For the remainder of the combat, you may play any card in your hand as though it were a copy of the card in the active area. Return all cards in the active area of the party journal to the owner's hands at the end of the combat. Place the round marker in the second space of the round track and continue the combat. We need some black dice. Let's spend our 2 dexterity to guarantee 2 dice. And the remaining 3 randomly. Well, that's not good. Let's use Green Taker to add a black die. And it's a 2. Let's place it here. I can use Restore to add a random die and set it to 2, which is a blue. And Friendly turns any 2 into any color. We have played 3 cards, and we just need a white somehow. Let's do the Jade Gauntlet to turn this 6 into a white, and then I can play with a bonus play limit, the Blessed Maze, which allows us to decrease a red or white die by 1 or 2. This is a white die, and we can add it here. With this, we have completed the combat, hopefully. The spirit of Katandur disperses. A blue mist again fills the crypt and gradually dissipates. You have awoken him, Gundur explains grimly, and his spirit is now bonded to you. He will haunt you until your dying day. I am sorry, I should not have let you come here. Yet it is good news that you have recovered Katandur's horn. An object of such immense power will surely prove useful. Reveal title card 43. Haunted. If you have the keyword Nolan, you look around for Tarek, but he has disappeared. You search the catacombs, but find no trace of him. Stairs lead back to your cell, and a locked iron door awaits at the end of the passage. If your entire party is exhausted, it is not. Let's see what we get for defeating the Ghost of Katandur. We get 5 XP. We can use an item rest or move to another location. I think the only item that we need to use is the skeleton key. Let's rest just in case. When we rest for the 4th time in an adventure, we need to discard a card. Let's lose one of our leather armors. We return the cards. Let's spend 3 XP. We have 10, 9, 11. We refill the attribute rows. And let's now use the skeleton key. The skeleton key fits perfectly into the lock of the iron door. You turn the key and the door swings open. If you have the title Warden's Trust, we do. Just as you are about to escape into the darkness, the Fighting 87th enters the catacombs from the cell block. Vrax shouts to Gundur and the two exchange tense words afterwards. Gundur translates for you. She says that you are a snitch, Gundur explains, that you gave the potion to the warden. You told her that you would be starting a riot and now they've doubled the guard in the smithy. Gundur, despondent, stares at the floor. They're telling the truth, aren't they? He asks you. Then, crestfallen, he leaves your side to stand behind Vrax and her gang. The goblins charge forward to attack. We have a combat with Vrax and goblins. We need so many colors. Let's just draw randomly 5 dice. And roll them. Well, we might have this 6. We can use Entrap to flip the 1 into a 6 and place it. We can use Blessed Mace to decrease a red by 1. We have played 2 cards. For the third, we can use the Vampire's Call to flip the white into a 5, and we can place the 6. This way we have defeated the goblin. We only have a 3 left and 1 more card play. We can use the long sword to increase the green to a 4. Oh, we should have returned the bonus play token when we rested. Let's use Green Taker with the bonus play token to add another die of any color, and let's add it a black. And it's a 2. And with the second bonus play token, I can use the Onyx Cube to turn any color into a 5. We move on to the next turn. We move the round track marker for Vrax. We lose 1 stamina from an attribute row, and we take 5 damage. In the next turn, let's spend 1 intelligence for a blue die and 1 strength for a red die. And 3 more randomly. We have the 3 that we needed. The Ancient Tome allows me to increase the purple to a 4 and weak to turn it into a red. With this, we have completed the combat. We return the dice. We get the benefits, 2 gold and 4 XP. The goblin gang scrambles up the steps back into the cell block, preferring the safety of the prison walls to the danger of standing against you. When you head through the darkness beyond the iron door, Gundur's footsteps follow behind. Turn to the end. I don't think there's anything that we can do here anymore, so let's go to the end. From the catacombs you discover a brickwork tunnel that leads northward under the walls of Kulbak to freedom. Reaching a fork in the tunnel, Gundur parts ways with you, suggesting that it will be best for you not to be seen together. He takes the tunnel towards Sobek. You rest for a moment and let the realization sink in that you cannot return to the capital yourself. You have not yet proven your innocence and are still wanted for the murder of the king. Whatever comes next, your path leads you away from home. If you have either the keyword truth or unconvinced, we do not. If you have the keyword egg, reveal title card 45, we do. Insectoid Protector. Now we need to check the title cards that we have acquired in this adventure. I think we have 5. Let's add them here. We have Goblin's Inmate, Constructor's Assembler, Warden's Trust, Haunted, and Insectoid Protector. In time, the tunnel opens out to a trail above ground which leads steeply upwards. Soon you are high enough to look back on Kulbak. It seems small for its distance. You imagine dinner is likely being served in the mess hall. Soon it will be lights out for the Dragul. By turning over the potion to the warden, you earn her trust, but that doesn't mean she won't come looking for you even if she believes that you're innocent. You are an escaped convict now. It is her duty to track you down. As you continue on the trail, you meet the construct guard whose head you reattached. At first, you are concerned he might attempt to arrest you and drag you back to prison, but he quickly puts your mind at ease. I've come to the conclusion, he explains, that my dream was a vision of things to come. I am taking a pilgrimage to the Gurlung Colossus. I thought my mental capacities had become impaired when my head was severed, but now I know the truth. I have seen my destiny. With that, he bids you farewell. Your satchel weighs heavy on your shoulder. When you open it to check, you discover several inches of water at the bottom of the bag. The insect egg is leaking. You pick it up and the shell cracks in your hand. A newborn insectoid larva emerges and latches onto your wrist, drawing blood. Instinctively, you raise your hand to swat it away, but you do not strike. The infant means no harm. It is feeding as if you were its mother. When its belly is full, the creature scuttles up your arm and settles into the crook between your neck and your shoulder, falling soundly asleep. Reveal rare card 51, which is Insectoid Hatchling. You decide to rest for a while against a tree. Just as you settle in for sleep, you hear rustling in the forest. You scramble to your feet and see the spirit of Kathandur standing before you. His translucent body is distorted almost beyond recognition, his face transfixed in a silent scream. As you continue down the trail, it suddenly occurs to you that the name Rax was already known to you. You remember stories of the goblin during the war. She inspired much fear and hatred among the king's guard, but also a begrudging respect for her strategies. She was a worthy adversary and also likely considered a hero among her own people. By dawn, you are many miles from Kulbak. You have not yet seen signs of pursuers, but you know that hound gangs and bounty hunters are already on your trail. Messengers will distribute wanted posters with your name and description across the land. Soon there will be no place for you to hide. After many miles, the forest gives way to open land of rolling hills, through which a river snakes its way towards Bogroot Swamp, home of the Frockin. Common sense tells you that you ought to avoid any civilization, but pangs of hunger and tired feet drive you towards Bogroot in hopes of rest and a hot meal. After all, there are no safe roads now that you are an escaped convict accused of murdering your king. All you can do is press forward. With any luck, you'll stay one day ahead of justice. With this, we have completed the adventure. We can go to the market and spend our XP. I've already shuffled the decks. Let's see what we have. We have Foolish, Energy Field, Disguise, War's Lens, and Mystic Robes. We have 5, 10, 12 gold to spend. Well, considering our issues with blue, we might as well spend 4 gold For foolish, it's normally 6, but since we're human, it's discounted by 2. And maybe pay 7 for disguise. It's 7 because we have 2 charisma, so it's discounted by 2. We have 1 gold remaining, which we will save for the next adventure. Let's see now for XP how much we have. We have 5, 10, 25 in total. To increase the combat dice limit, we will need 5 plus the current dice limit for a total of 10. And let's do it again, since we had a lot of fights and we seem to be getting ourselves into fights. It will be 6, which means we need to pay 11. This will make the combat dice limit up to 7. And for the remaining 4, let's increase 1 attribute. And let's go with our primary attribute, strength. This will make it a 6. And this was the 5th adventure in Roleplayer Adventures, Crack in Kulbak. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.